Now there is a public servant serving the public. Gentleman asked for directions, and the officer is offering the directions. It seems as if I'm being watched by the watchers. Looks like he may have some questions. Oh, no, sir. No, thank you.
What paper you represent?
Sir?
What paper you represent?
Oh, no paper. Just an independent photo.
You might need to get some permission, man, to be out here photographing these buildings. You might need to get some permission.
No, sir. I believe I'm on a public sidewalk, and there's no sense of privacy in public.
I don't think so. Not when you're close to this jail, it ain't.
Oh, sir, is this not a public sidewalk?
Not when it's close to this jail. You might need to get permission. You might from the sheriff over there. If you want to photograph the buildings, what are you photographing?
I'm just doing some videography, just covering the store.
You're doing a story or some sort?
That's correct. Yeah, just a small document. I don't wish to engage in conversation today, sir.
Well, I'm gonna have to do this. You might need to go ahead and get in your vehicle and move out from the premises.
Sir, I believe I'm standing on a public sidewalk.
You might need to go and get in your vehicle and leave the premises because this here is jail property.
Okay.
Jail property and sheriff's property. This belongs to the sheriff. You need to either get permission from the sheriff across the street or move out.
So, one question
is... Either get permission from the sheriff or you'll have to leave the property.
Okay. My only question is this a public sidewalk?
This belongs to the sheriff's. This is the sheriff's office right here.
I believe the sheriff's building is also public property, sir.
If you want to photograph, you need to get permission from the sheriff.
Okay, and what is your name, sir?
You can see it right here.
And your badge number?
There's no badge number.
You don't have a badge number?
You can go and ask the sheriff, sir.
So are you Officer Thomas with the Richmond County Marshal's office?
I'm going to ask you one more time, then I'm going to have a patrol car come
I'll be happy to go inside and ask your reception if this is public property.
Let's go.
Okay.
You want to photograph out here?
Please.
Or you want to take pictures? You need to get permission.
Please lead me to the individual who is supposed to give me permission to engage in my constitutional rights. Do I not have a right to film, sir? Do I not have the right to freedom of press?
Just let you guys get permission from the sheriff over here.
Well, sir, I shouldn't have to obtain permission to engage in a constitutional right.
If you're on the sheriff's property,
sir,
I think you might need to.
Okay, well, if you can find somebody to let me know that this is not a public sidewalk, I'll be more than happy to move to a public sidewalk. But my understanding is this is a public road. This is 10 feet from that public road, and this is a public sidewalk. Now, having not stepped in the parking lot, I do believe this is a public parking lot as well. But I am currently on a public sidewalk. Excuse me, sir. Oh, please lead the way to who I need to speak to, sir.
Put your keys, cell phones, and everything in that.
Oh, I don't wish to enter, sir.
You gonna need to do something like we need to find. You need to get permission from the sheriff if you want to go out there.
I'd be more than happy to stay on this side and wait for the sheriff's office. Ma'am.
Come in, sir, if you don't want to be screened.
Oh, the officer told me to come in and obtain permission to film on a public sidewalk.
You want to film right outside?
Yeah, I'm on a public sidewalk. I'm just engaging in my constitutional rights, and the officer said that I need to go on from a public sidewalk. He said I'd have to obtain permission from the sheriff himself. Is there any other issues, sir?
They want you to go off the property, go where
Well, sir,
park is,
right, but I'm not on anybody's property. I'm on a public sidewalk, sir.
cross the street from off of May Park if you want to.
Right. What is the difference between that sidewalk and this sidewalk, sir?
Property. That's why you don't want to discuss who
You
you
need to call 0439.
Well, ma'am, I'm just being told that I'm not allowed to stand on a public sidewalk and engage in my constitutional rights.
You're not getting it. 821-0439. That's the sheriff's secretary.
Okay.
You need to call that number.
What was that number, ma'am? I apologize.
0439.
821-0439?
821.
0439.
And that's the sheriff's secretary. Because you have to have permission in the sheriff building.
Right, well, I was told to come in here, ma'am. Yes, is this the Richmond County Sheriff's Secretary line? Okay, I was just given this information from the Richmond County Sheriff's Office that this was the secretarial line. This is a printing service. Thank you, sir. And you did say 821-0439, ma'am?
0439.
That is a printing service.
Yeah, 0439, that's it.
261.
261.
0439.
Thank you.
And we're the marshal. You tell them that.
Ma'am, I wasn't within the markings. I was on the public sidewalk across the street. Yes, ma'am. My name is Matthew. I'm currently at the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Richmond County Marshal Officer Thomas had advised me that I need permission from the sheriff himself to videotape on a public sidewalk. May I speak with him? Thank you. Oh, I'm an independent photographer. Yes, ma'am. With photographyisnotacrime.com. Thank you. believe I was disconnected.
Just
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. What my question is why should I have to submit a formal request to engage in not only the U.S. constitutional right, but also the state of Georgia constitutional right of freedom of press? Thank you.
yeah, she's here trying to be quiet.
Yes, ma'am. So you're stating that I should submit a formal request to engage in my constitutional rights on a public sidewalk? Okay, I don't read anything in the Constitution that states that. As a matter of fact, if I may, are your officers sworn to protect the Georgia Constitution, ma'am? Okay, if I may, let me read you something. Georgia Constitution, Bill of Rights, paragraph, yes ma'am. Give me one moment. Paragraph 5 of Article 1, Bill of Rights. Freedom of speech and of the press guaranteed. No law shall be passed to curtail or restrain the freedom of speech or of the press. Every person may speak, write, and publish sentiments on all subjects, but shall be responsible for the abuse of that liberty. Now, I'm not abusing my liberty. I'm currently standing on a public sidewalk in what's commonly known as Richmond County, Georgia, engaging in my Georgia constitutional rights. Now, is that a city code or a law that states I must submit a formal request to engage in my constitutional right? So well, that's what I need to know is if it's a law, because then obviously there'd be a law that's restraining me from engaging in my Georgia constitutional right. That's correct. I do know it, but it's your officers here at the Richmond County Sheriff's Office who don't know it. Right, but what they do know, I mean, you know, it shouldn't be an excuse of the law. Not knowing the law shouldn't be an excuse not to abide by it, correct? So who could tell me this, ma'am? The sidewalk currently on the side of 4th Street, excuse me, downtown Richmond County, is that a public sidewalk?
You go over there and film all your life, but
Sir, excuse me. That's correct, it is. So your officers should not be out here telling me to remove from a public sidewalk engaging in my constitutional right. I don't want to have an issue here. I'm just trying to, you know, cover some information for a story. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am, hold on, one more question. Who does this supposedly, what'd you say it was, an application to engage in your constitutional rights? Who do I submit that application to? To who? And where is that office located? Now, and what would my formal request be to engage in my constitutional right of freedom of press? That's where I'm confused. I'm not trying to film inside any private building. I'm outside in public, engaging in my rights as a citizen. I shouldn't have to request permission. The Constitution gives me permission to do that, ma'am. Could I could I 401 Walton Way? 400 Walton Way. So I'm currently here. Is he available? Who, Lieutenant Chu? Well, I'm currently outside. I don't have means to email something. If I need to obtain permission from a so-called public official, I would like to do that now. I'm currently here. I mean, I don't see what the issue is. I mean, I'm standing right outside. Is it possible for him to come down and speak with me, ma'am? Okay, well, who is here that can supposedly grant me my constitutional right? Thank you, ma'am. I'm at front. Thank you.